was a Ottoman versus United States, and I think it was kind of important for you to understand from my voice what happened here because I didn't get to talk very much. So basically what we had here was, the United States was very grateful to be playing against the 5th most ranked player in the world of Age of Empires 3. That's a pretty good honor to have, frankly, so he was very happy about that, and then he just gave him a little heart there like, yeah, yay. That's always wholesome, but yeah, pretty much what we're going to see here is a Ottoman double barracks Janissary versus a United States standard build. Nothing crazy like a Scottish immigrant or anything wacko like that. Basically, United States in this one did something pretty basic, and I just want to showcase you in this match how powerful the double barracks Janissary build really is, so you sort of can gauge that personally. So yep, basically in this situation it's gonna show you why double barracks Janissary builds just work really well as an Age 2 rush, and it's why it's the preferred rush for the Ottoman player. Now, in the old days of Legacy, what you would often see is you would see barracks with an artillery foundry, and they would go Janissary Abyss Gunner. And sort of like a wombo combo of that. You would go like one barracks with the Janissary for the anti-cav, obviously, and then you would have the Abyss as sort of like the infantry shredder. But in Definitive Edition, it's confirmed that the best way to do Ottomans is to go double barracks Janissary. And that's for a specific reason, as we're going to see here. Because basically, you can sort of, in so many ways, go around the need for the Abyss gun by just going with double Janissary, where you're stacking these very high hit point muskets in a huge mass so that they just cover each other really well and just overwhelm the opponent. So yeah, that's what we're going to see here. Now, the United States in this situation is running a pretty bland USA deck, capitalism, Dutch immigrants, Hamiltonian crates. Nothing too crazy here, you know. They're not creating any sort of crazy build, I would say. Sure, there is potential for a fast fortress there, but, you know, it was pretty obvious when we saw this one that the USA was not doing a very powerful build. Whereas Ottomans going for Uruk, capitalism, and then they're going to go for 5 Uruk here. And in fact, as I pointed out before, this OnlyBaus here is such a talented player, his being 5th ranked in the world, that he actually built a deck specifically to fight the United States. And this is something we actually see with a lot of these high-level players, like your JulianKs, your Revnaks, these high-level Age of Empires 3 people. They actually build decks to counter every civ with the civ that they are. That's some dedication right there. Like, they actually go through the studying from their personal experience as well as the type of resources that are out there on sites like Free Food Party to actually research, alright, these are the cards I need for this matchup, and this is how I do it. So that's pretty insane that these players are so well versed and experienced in the game that they actually know what cards and builds they need for every civ and every potential matchup. It's pretty good, you know. I mean, obviously alone that doesn't teach you much because people can throw you for a loop and teach you something totally new. But it's pretty interesting how far good they got it, basically, how good they are with basically capping every one of these situations with really good counters, you know what I mean? So, like, if you know you're going against a Baja Revolt, you know, I'm going to go Abyss with Ottomans and set your deck up that way. If you know you're going up against the United States like this, you would want to go double barracks Janissary and just pound on top of them. Because here's the thing, if this USA was going with Scottish immigrants, double barracks Janissary is still a good move, because how do you deal with those Highlanders that come out with that card? Mass units. Because you're doing tons of pierce damage and you just grind down those Highlanders as they're pushing on you. So really, in this case, going the double barracks Janissary route, which he's doing right in this spot, is the recipe of success, because it essentially gives you the army you need to deal with anything USA could potentially pull on you, which is really scary, because USA has some pretty strong builds, but I feel like when you're doing something as robust as a double barracks Janissary, it can be really hard. And what we're seeing now that the United States did, they do something called the 3C build. I think it's called the 3C build. Basically, 3 coin trickles in one. You go capitalism is your first trickle. You get the trickle of the bank second. And then you go Pennsylvania to go with the Philadelphia Convention. And then from the meeting house that it provides you, you can research the Pennsylvania Pound, which is a trade-off World Decree type tech that reduces your mining rate, but it gives you a coin trickle. So basically what USA was hoping to do was have a steady supply of tons of coin through these 3 coin trickles and just going regular, and eventually building up into something stronger. And perhaps even adding in some outlaws later with like a saloon or something. So yeah, unfortunately for him, Ahmed is on top of his game, has really good timing here with both of the Janissary batches, and he's just going to climb right on top of his town center. Because this is the point in the Age of Empires 3 match where you really are toast. You are literally forced to keep your villas in the town center, because if you take them out, they're going to get shot by the muskets. So your economy is dead, and you don't have enough defense to force that army out. They can just stay there as long as they need to, because their economy is so robust at home that they can resupply more troops there and more troops. This is what we saw in the JulianK versus Moon game, which was something we covered very early on in the tournament. Basically, Moon had a good British build, and he acquired a ton of villas through the Marabou, but JulianK was able to keep enough Russian troops on top of them that those villas were cannon fodder by even leaving the base or the town center, and thus all that economy was just wasting away in his town center. And that's what you're seeing here. All these villas that he has have to be in the town center, and this is the scary thing too. It's like, look, even though he was able to get his villagers away here and get them to a hunt, it's all that extra time it takes for him to run across there to find a hunt and get more food that he's losing villager seconds, and thus he's crippled. And also he has no wood, so he's completely housed. He can't even use the food or gold he even has, and it's just a very detrimental situation to find yourself in. So yeah, this is a good demonstration of a double barracks Janissary build for you. Just figured I'd point that out to you really here. Most definitely. Up, regular's gone there. Very nice. Beautiful. Get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. Boom. Very good. Here comes the Pennsylvania rifles there. Some skirmishers. Should make it a little bit better, but at this point the Janissary mass is so big it doesn't matter that you have skirmishers, because what's going to happen is the Janissaries are just going to walk up right against your skirms, or even go into hand attack and just go boom, boom, boom. There's just so much stats on the field for the Janissary mass that it's an easy instant destroy of all these. So yeah, that's why double barracks Janissaries are such lethal things overall. Yeah, most definitely. So yeah, that's quite good. Town center will go down right now. Beautiful. Very nice. And that's looking like a GG there. Yeah, absolutely. Good, good, good. Absolutely. Bing, bada, boom. And that spot. Beautiful. Very nice. Exactly what you like to see there, yeah. GG. Good game indeed. Yeah, that was a good one. Definitely like seeing that. Absolutely. And we'll go on to the next game.